She tells me you've been laid up for a while, and Jean-Paul mentioned it as well, as did his mother. So you see, people worry about you." "I'm fine," growled Fabrice. As Katy watched the old man, thinking of what Jean-Paul had told her about an unrequited love, she wondered about his cantankerous ways. Was it simply the grumpiness that at times accompanied old age, or was there something more going on? At the moment, Fabrice seemed truly overwhelmed, standing with 3 people in front of him. Perhaps he had a social phobia. These sorts of things weren't often diagnosed in his generation. Maybe that was why the 2 of them got along so well. "Well," said Dr. Miller in an upbeat tone, "since I came all the way out here, and you are clearly using a crutch, why don't you let me examine you?" "Please, Fabrice," said Jean-Paul. "Let the doctor take a look." "Fine," said Fabrice, limping over to a stone bench. Jean-Paul moved to help him, but he waved him off, saying, "I'm no invalid." Dr. Miller did not seem put off by Fabrice's attitude. He knelt in the gravel and examined his ankle and lower leg. After a few minutes, he stood. "We would need to take a radiograph to be sure, but it does not appear to be a break. Only a bad sprain. That is good news, but for a man your age, it will take some time to heal. I do just fine. I have to tell you, Fabrice, I don't feel good about you being out here all by yourself. The risk of re-injury or a complicating fall is great. And there are rehabilitation centers." "Don't waste your breath," said Fabrice. "I'm staying here." "But I'm not alone. The little girl's here. She cooks." The doctor looked at Katy. Katy raised her hand. "C'est moi, I do believe." Fabrice had called her petite fille, which meant little girl, but also meant granddaughter. Katy had never had a grumpy grandfather or a goofy uncle. She had read about such characters and had watched them in movies for years. Now she had Fabrice, at least for the time being. "I'll take good care of him," she said. "I'll be around for a while as well. You won't be alone," Jean-Paul said to the doctor, stepping forward. Again, Katy bristled. After the day they'd spent together, she should have felt closer to Jean-Paul, and she did. Except that she still hated the idea of turning the chateau into a chain hotel, no matter how well done, or how much economic sense it made. Château Clement was like a treasure trove of family history. How could he even consider letting that go? Dr. Miller left them with basic instructions. Keep the ankle elevated as much as possible, and apply cold packs. As the good doctor's little car disappeared down the drive, Jean-Paul turned to Fabrice and said, "Thank you for not greeting us with the shotgun this time." Fabrice shrugged and scratched under Lucy's chin. "So," Katy said, "am I now allowed to stay here again? It's up to you, of course, but I'd like to know one way or the other." When Fabrice didn't answer, she held up the heavy grocery bags and added, "Because if I go now, you will never know the wonders of American garlic bread, which is an experience not to be missed. I have all the ingredients right here, ready to go. Yes or no?" He looked at her for a long minute, heaved himself off the bench, and limped into the house. "Comme tu veux," he called over his shoulder. "I'll take that as a yes," Katy said as she and Jean-Paul followed. "And that, gentlemen, is why garlic bread is universally beloved by my people," said Katy as Fabrice and Jean-Paul served themselves 3rd helpings of the wonderfully flavorful concoction. It had turned out particularly well tonight, probably because the bread itself was so good. "And here I thought the French were the ultimate gourmets." "I have no idea what she's talking about. Do you, Fabrice?" Jean-Paul teased. "No idea," Fabrice said, slipping a crust of the buttery bread to Lucy, who was trying to hide beneath the table, but was so tall that when she stood, the table hovered and tilted, forcing them all to dive for their glasses. That Fabrice deigned to answer at all made Katy smile. "You two probably haven't ever really had good mac and cheese either, have you?" She didn't know how to say the term in French, so she said it in English. "Mac and quoi?" Fabrice said. "It's pasta with a cheese sauce, baked in the oven and sprinkled with breadcrumbs, or if you're feeling wild, with potato chips. It's incredibly good. Not as good as garlic bread, I'll grant you, but still very good. I'll make it for you," she promised, then wondered if she would be here long enough to try out all her recipes. She already felt